to Eye on St. Lucie, a show designed to focus on the instructional programs and practices in St. Lucie Public Schools. I'm Carrie Patrick, your host, and joining me today is Mr. Tom Kindred from Indian River State College. Tom Kindred is a gentleman who has been instrumental in bringing to St. Lucie Public School a pilot project known as the Ice House Project. This is a project whereby we can help to inspire and bring out the entrepreneurial spirit in our students. Now, Mr. Kindred, I know you've got a great deal going on as a gentleman who focuses on entrepreneurial programs.
Right.
Tell us a little bit more about what you do at Indian River State College.
I am absolutely one of the luckiest guys in town. I have a great opportunity at Indian River State College to serve the college and the community as the entrepreneur in residence, which simply means that besides spending a lot of hours at the college, what I'm able to do is take my experience and history of business, and we try to provide coaching, mentoring, advice, leading locals that want to start and grow a business along the Research Coast.
Okay. And the project that you've shared and talked to me about that really I was very excited to hear about,
right.
Started with really some information and a seed that has grown
Right.
into something that is proving to be very beneficial to our
Right.
students.
Extremely excited about this particular program. I was attending a meeting one day along with Representative Larry Lee. Representative Lee talked about a vision that he had to create a enterprise program for young people, teaching young people the benefits of business ownership, and teaching the young people that was an alternative to other things, to own and operate and start a business, introduce technologies and maybe become an entrepreneur. So when Representative Lee finished his talk about this enterprise program, I approached Mr. Lee and said that I had just returned from Kansas City and the Kauffman Foundation, where I was introduced to some incredible new, innovative entrepreneurship training and curriculum, and it's called Who Owns the Ice House? And it is basically curriculum that deals with what we call the myths of entrepreneurship. So many of us, when we think of entrepreneurship, we think about what we call those celebrity entrepreneurs, and we all have heard of them and know them, the Bill Gateses, the Steve Jobs. But this curriculum really addresses that and brings it kind of back home and teaches young people that they too can be successful in entrepreneurship. That you don't need all those benefits to get into business and to launch a business.
And one of the things I love about learning is whenever we can learn through a story.
Right.
And this program has a wonderful story to tell. And a gentleman by the name of Uncle Cleve,
correct,
serves as the background for how this all got started.
Yeah, it's actually based on a true story of a gentleman called Uncle Cleve, and Uncle Cleve, what we refer to Uncle Cleve as is really an unlikely entrepreneur. He's not the textbook typical entrepreneur that we talk about or we see on television. The story is really told by Uncle Cleve's nephew, Clifton Talbert. Clifton was a young person back in the late 50s, early 60s, and his uncle, Uncle Cleve, actually owned the Ice House. They were located in the Mississippi Delta, and what the book is based on is really 8 fundamentals of business that Clifton took from his Uncle Cleve, that he learned right there in the front seat of Uncle Cleve's truck as they delivered ice.
Well, what's wonderful about technology is that we have the ability to bring his nephew right here. So
right.
let's see what he has to say about his Uncle Cleve.
I know what got me on this journey. That man, his ice house, and the way he lived his life in my present, I can't ever forget that. It was Uncle Cleve. Here was this one man within my community that I knew intimately, that got up every day of his life, got in his truck, and went to his business. I'll never forget that.
Today, The lessons Clifton Talbert learned from watching his Uncle Cleve grow into a role as an unlikely entrepreneur have led him to success in his own right as an author, entrepreneur, and Pulitzer Prize nominee.
I was thinking specifically about me, about my journey and what had happened and what had caused me to end up at the place in my life where I now stand. And there was no question it was Uncle Cleve.
Through a partnership with the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation, the story has also been transformed into an interactive online learning program designed to immerse students in the entrepreneurial mindset Uncle Cleve embodied. Who Owns the Ice House? A powerful and compelling tale that distills the wisdom and influence of his Uncle Cleve into the 8 life lessons that empowered Talbert to become what Time magazine referred to as one of our nation's most outstanding entrepreneurs.
So that's a wonderful story, and there's wonderful opportunities for kids. Give me a little bit about your inspiration to bring it back to St. Lucie.
Oh, well, as I was sitting and I was going through the course myself and learning the curriculum, I really thought about our community, and I thought about my hometown, Fort Pierce, and I said, you know, here's an opportunity really to send a message to our students that anything is possible, and that you know, one of the lessons in the curriculum is really what we call the power to choose, and it really is so powerful, because what we teach the students is that one's choices and actions, rather than their circumstances, you know, will ultimately determine their success. And I think that really was a great message to bring back to our hometown. You know, the students have the power to choose. What are they going to do after school? You know, watch TV or study, or watch TV or read a book and learn something. Watch TV or you know, work at something. So I just felt like it really played well in our community, and I what was really nice was when Larry Lee talked about this vision he had. I said, this is it. These are the pieces of the puzzle that we can put together and bring this curriculum to the St. Lucie County school system.
Well, you know, and I think you're touching upon something that's very important. In St. Lucie County, we've got tremendous collaborative partners.
Right.
School district is working with Indian River State College. There are so many benefactors, and you've already referenced the fact that Representative Larry Lee was so on board with this. There's a huge initiative in St. Lucie with Restoring the Village.
Right.
And I know that there's more people behind this. So who is helping to support this pilot project, which we know is going to grow to something more?
Well, again, you're so right, and so often I see it that we've, you know, and of course working with Indian River State College obviously gives us the opportunity to work with some great people, and Dr. Massey being, you know, the visionary type leader he is, he really brings in those partners. They want to come and work with the college. So we're working with Adams Ranch. I think you know, Representative Lee and the Adams Ranch folks had talked many times about this enterprise program, and how you know, that it would be important to offer students the opportunity to understand entrepreneurship and the power of entrepreneurship, and how entrepreneurship could potentially change their lives. So it was just, you know, when I brought the curriculum to Representative Lee, you can imagine, you know, he was very excited about the curriculum, and so he immediately contacted Adams Ranch and said, I think I have the final piece of the puzzle of this enterprise program. And then, of course, we met with Dr. Massey, and Dr. Massey, who's extremely engaged in economic development and understands, again, the power of organically building the marketplace through entrepreneurship. It was just a natural partnership. And then, of course, contacted the school system and presented the curriculum, and there was obviously you know, a big welcome there too. And they said, look, we're absolutely looking for this, you know, innovative type curriculum. So it was an easy sell.
Innovation is definitely where we need to be to help our students for tomorrow. And, you know, I know that as we move forward with this, we are instilling a very positive mindset with our students. We are dispelling the myths that you mentioned earlier. And working with the children, what are some of the myths that that you've really had the opportunity to just shatter because they don't exist?
Well, again, when you talk about those celebrity entrepreneurs, we always talk about that, you know, their backgrounds, you know, the Harvard MBA, the political connections, the family had some money, the ability to get the money and raise the money, and that's a big part of entrepreneurship. But what is so great about this curriculum is these, and the curriculum really it involves a lot of videos and testimonials from people that did it. Building it, you know, bootstrapping it, as we call it in entrepreneurship, really building it step by step. Some great stories about how people just had an idea and built it from the ground up and did it on their own and did it with the few dollars they had saved up themselves. And so that's the kind of myths. And what we and again I go back to that power to choose. You know, we want to teach these students that life's not a lottery. I mean, you can't wait around, you know, for something to happen. You've got to take action, and that's a big part of this curriculum. Is take action. Right. You know, if you have an idea, if you want to better yourself, if you want to do something different, you've got to take action. You can't wait.
And I think that's one of the things that our representative does very well, is he takes action.
Right. That's
and
right.
I think he has a few words to impart upon us. So we're going to cut to Larry Lee at this time.
Well, this all came about because I had this idea that if we could get our kids on the right track in life and get them to see that there's a way out other than drugs and crime. And I had this great idea about entrepreneurship. So I went over to Indian River State College. I met with Dr. Massey and Tom Kendricks, and unbeknownst to me, Tom had already been looking at a program called Who Owns the Ice House, and shared that story with me, and I shared with Dr. Massey and Tom my conversation with Bud Adams. And Bud Adams and I had been talking previously about starting such a program, and that's how it all started. I also believe that this program, as these students move through this program, I can see many of them starting their own businesses, going into careers beyond high school, getting prepared for college and leading into areas, and hopefully one day coming back home, investing in this community, because this community would have given them so much. And tying the St. Lucie County School District in with the Indian River State College and people like Mr. Adams, Bud Adams, and myself, it's just a dream come true. And who owns the Ice House? That's what it's all about.
Representative Lee has mentored many individuals, both youth and adults, right. And you know, the myths are not generational. The myths are right. Something that can be applied to any right. age group, which you know, it's important because, again, as a community, it's the adults coming together with the students, coming together with the businesses to make sure that these things happen and we see a positive future for St. Lucie right. County. We're definitely moving in the right direction and things right. are happening. And with that being said, while we have adults that are mentoring our students, we also have those examples that you talked about. Right. What are some of the ones that the students have really seen as inspirational to them?
I think one of the greatest stories throughout the curriculum is a gentleman by the name of Brian Scudamore. Now, and everybody I'm sure is familiar with Brian's company. It's 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And he just has this incredible story about, you know, there was a need. He had a need. So instead of, you know, waiting, you know, for somebody to try to, you know, solve his problems, he found a way to solve his problems, and he built this business really that came from a simple idea, and that is a concept that we teach the students too. You don't have to have the next great idea. It just has to be a simple solution to an everyday problem, and that can be really the beginnings of a business. And solving other people's problems is an opportunity for you to empower yourself, and then that's really what the curriculum addresses mm-hmm. and what we're teaching. Yeah.
And I love his story because
it's a great one.
It's something that I think we all need to be cognizant of, and these ideas can come to us at any time, and we always
right.
need to be aware of that.
Right, and that's a great point, Carrie, too. I mean, and that's another point we teach the students is be on the lookout, be listening, be looking, be observant. You know, one of the principles in the book is recognizing opportunity, and that's what we teach the students. Be looking for those opportunities, you know, to do something, to start a business, a new idea, solve those simple everyday problems.
So let's go right to Brian and let him tell his story.
It's a great story.
All right.
I was in a McDonald's drive-thru of all places, beat up old pickup truck with plywood side panels built up in front of me. It said Mark's Hauling on the side. And it was spray painted letters and just a beat up old truck. But I looked at that truck and connected with an idea of, wow, I should get out and buy my own truck and start hauling junk. Got out there, had a truck within a week's time. The company was called the Rubbish Boys. Really, it was just me, but I had a vision for something bigger. And got out there and started knocking on people's doors when I saw they had a pile of junk sitting outside their garage or in their laneway or their alley. I'd introduce myself as Brian from the Rubbish Boys and would offer to haul away their junk for a fee. And that business model is one that still exists today in 3 countries, 250 franchise partners. It's the basis for what I've created with 1-800-GOT-JUNK, a simple core business doing it better than anyone else could. There's great brands out there. Apple computers started with less than $10,000 out of a garage. Wrigley's chewing gum started with $1,000. There's all these success stories of businesses that started with very little. And I think there's something to be said for that. Is you get out there and you build a business from scratch. That's a myth of entrepreneurship, that people think you need a college education, you need an MBA, it's got to be from Harvard, you need to know a bunch of VCs, you need to have a ton of money in your jeans. It's not the way. And there's plenty of people out there that have done it a simple sort of ice house type way.
So basically, we've seen Brian take an idea
Right.
and make it into an empire.
Right.
It can happen for anyone.
It absolutely can, and that's again cornerstone of this curriculum is that your choices, your actions are what make the difference, not your circumstances, not your surroundings. That you've got to get beyond that, and I think one of the great messages that we teach is this react versus respond. Don't just react to your circumstances. I can't do it. I don't have the resources. You have to stop and you have to think and create that response and think about what you can do. So. Again, a lot of great lessons, are coming out in this curriculum, and I think really at the end of the day, for years we've taught entrepreneurship as really technical business training. Build a business plan and do your financial plan, do your operation plan. This curriculum really is almost life training. While we're teaching some basic concepts of business, it's really about life training.
And that goes back to the whole idea of mindset.
Right.
And it's not a step-by-step. It's getting your mind in the right place, making sure you have the paradigm shifted appropriately so that you can take action. That's fabulous.
No, you're so right. You have to be in the right mindset. And it's a big word for us today in entrepreneurship, is get in that entrepreneurial mindset.
So I know that there are some other fine examples that we've seen, and not only do you not have to have wealth, but you don't necessarily have to have all of the advantages in life to be very much an influential member of society and a positive citizen.
Absolutely not. We clearly understand that again, back to that power of choice. What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with your time? Again, and you know this very well, you're in the education business just like we are. It's different today. Education's even different. The way we teach things, the way the students receive the information. A lot of students again today are taking online classes. The traditional classroom isn't the same as it used to be. So things are different today, and this type of curriculum is innovative. It's dealing in a different way with education, and we teach students that there's a couple of examples in the book and in the videos of folks that talk about education in a way that I'm learning what I need to know for what I want to do. It's not the cookie cutter education, for them. It's what classes, what courses, what information do I need to know to launch my endeavor.
And some of the things that you shared with me, I want to share a story of Dawn Halfacre, who overcame some adversity through her life story. She's also impacted some of the students in the program. So let's hear what she has to say.
Well, I definitely wouldn't consider myself at any point in my life entrepreneurial. I always associated that term with somebody who's thinking of these amazing ideas and inventing something, and then somehow goes to market and makes a lot of money. When I came out of a coma and learned that, you know, I had lost my arm and learned everything that happened to me because I didn't know beforehand. You know, I remember laying in my hospital bed thinking that, like, oh, you know, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? I really took it pretty hard because, you know, I had always just been capable and been able to do things, but now it was like, oh, you know, I've got to figure out a new way of doing things. And you know, and initially I was really focused on what I lost. And so once my mindset changed and I was really able to understand why it was important to focus on what I had, not what I didn't have, I was really able I felt so empowered to do anything. I mean, if you don't push yourself out of your comfort zone, you know, you're never going to go anywhere.
So some of the students have come to you and shared what they plan to do next. Tell me how they've reacted.
Well, again, it's how we built what we're calling really a pilot this semester. We built a cohort of students, and we asked those students up front, you know, what their entrepreneurial endeavors might be, what their hopes and dreams and visions were, and all the students that were involved in our pilot program this first semester all had an idea of starting a business, and it's the typical response we get. Gosh, it's a lot harder than I thought. But I think beyond when they figured out that, you know, there's a little work involved in this, I think there really is inspiring students now saying we can do it because of what they've heard.
We can do it, and we're going to hear what they have to say.
That's right.
This class has taught me how to react differently to my choices and how to do the right thing, and it's changed my perspective on a lot of things. I've been doing a lot more with my life and progressing, you know, myself since I joined the class because I want to further myself, you know, with my education and what I'm doing. And this course has helped me by showing me that I can do it if I have the right mindset towards doing that.
This class has taught me how to focus on what I can control and not anything around me. React and respond. I usually react first, but ever since I took this class, I now wait, stop, think about it, and see what the best solution is for it, and then I take it. My plans for the future is after I graduate, go to school for mechanics. Soon after that, go to another part, advanced entrepreneurship, to own my own business, and then my business is hopefully to do interior and exterior design / mechanics.
Before, I really didn't understand much about mindset. That was one of the biggest things I really didn't understand because during the beginning of the program, I didn't really have a good mindset of how to think about things like starting my business from scratch. But when I got into it, I started to understand why I didn't really have a good mindset, because the things I was going through, they kept me from thinking I can't do this business and I can't achieve what I'm trying to achieve.
Class has taught me positive mindset, and that what you think is what you can do, and that anything's possible. That, like, I wanted to make a cafe, and I'm going to make a cafe. Nothing's going to change that.
So the kids are great. They've learned so much.
Absolutely.
And we want to take this program further now. And one of the things that we in St. Lucie Public Schools are charged with doing is preparing our students for college and career readiness with the mindset, with the skills, and the readiness factor.
Right.
And what I love about St. Lucie County is the fact that we are partnering together. And Dr. Edwin Massey from Indian River State College understands our students' needs, understands their potential,
Right.
and is taking that mindset to the next level.
Absolutely.
And I just love what he has to say.
As a first-generation college student, first to go to college in my family, I watched my dad over years do a lot of different things. And he was a gentleman that never really had a job that he did not create. So when I was growing up, I watched him create jobs, and I watched him be fairly successful in doing that. And as I progressed through my college life, I realized that entrepreneurship was the driver in this country that has made the country what it is today. We believe in having a free enterprise system in America, a very strong free enterprise system, and that's about people having the opportunity to have ideas about creating businesses, working with people throughout the community to gain their support in creating a business, working with institutions within our community like the school districts and the college to develop business plans and to develop marketing plans that would support that business, and then going around and finding venture capitalists or people who would like to invest in their idea to create a new business within a community. So in the case of entrepreneurship, students, you are always looking to the future. You never really look back, because everything that you can create for yourself and create for your community is in the future. And if you think back, there have been so many great entrepreneurs over time that have created airplanes, created trains, created different pharmaceuticals, created computers, and just think about all of the products that have been created. And many of these products were created by somebody who had an idea for the future and started with just whatever materials they had in front of them. And people like Bill Gates ended up building a computer which went on to be the IT industry as we know it today, but actually started in his garage. So I would encourage you to think about entrepreneurship, and when you think about it, you always have to think about the future, because that's where it lies. A new idea, a new product, a new life for you, new income for you, a new profession for you, and also it's very, very good for our economy. As I was talking about entrepreneurship, I included the word collaboration. It takes a lot of partners to make something happen, and the program that we're working on and developing in St. Lucie County is a very powerful mix of the Kauffman Foundation, the Adams Ranch, Indian River State College, and also the St. Lucie County School Board. Pulling together and working with you as students in this community, we can teach you these skills that will totally change the future of your life going forward. So we're very happy to be in this partnership, and we're committed as a college to do anything we can possibly do to make this a success.
You know, in closing, Carrie, again, appreciate this opportunity, but I really want to thank Representative Larry Lee, the Adams Ranch Group, and the St. Lucie County School System really for allowing us to introduce and bring this innovative curriculum to the students of St. Lucie County.
And certainly we want to make sure that we thank Indian River State College. The partnership between the college and the school system is fabulous, and there are so many opportunities that we are not only exploring but putting into action, uniting the two institutions together. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And you know, this was our first time. I want to make sure that you come back and share the benefits of what happens as this program grows.
We'll keep you updated.
Thank you so much. And to our viewing audience, thank you for joining us today. We invite you to stay in tune with what is going on with your St. Lucie Public Schools. Please follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. We also have a presence on LinkedIn, and of course, you can visit our webpage for many, many pieces of information about your St. Lucie Public Schools.